everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Europa Universalis IV with me, Alfapiomega, Meiou and Taxes and Denmark. So, I start this episode by showing you that we can now get the police brotherhood, and we are actually 4 years ahead of time. So we're gonna get 20% bonus to production efficiency, which is awesome. It's gonna increase our income significantly. Not sure by how much, but we'll see that in a moment. So, in order to enforce laws throughout the land, many states established holy brotherhoods of officers that had jurisdiction across the entire country, organized from one central location. These would eventually grow into a national police force. Nice. And as you can see, we are now having 422 gold. So the Sealand trade wharf will be built very soon. I decided that's the right building for me because I'd like to upgrade it, as you know, it gives a big boost to trade power and other stuff. Stralsund is now our core. The autonomy has been going down slightly by 0.11 each month, so we are now at 97.5, but it's going to continue. The coring of Wismar is a very slow process, unfortunately, but yeah, we're working on that. Okay, that gave us about 0.3 boost to income, which is not as much as I thought, but hey. After we finish the trade wharf in Sealand, I think we will go with the warehouse, which is slightly cheaper, and it's gonna give us additional boosts to production and trade power there, so I'd like that. We now have 21 population in our capital, which allows us to get a mission, impress the diplomats, finished, so that gives a boost to improve relations 20%. And our alliance network, number of allies at least 3. Okay, well we have 1. What can you do? I'd like to get more, but you know, Lithuania is a bit problematic. What the hell are they doing? They're fighting like madmen. Current wars, Teutonic Order, they got 90. Polish conquest of Tuchel. Okay, well, I think you could get that from them now. Not sure what you're after anymore, but hey. We're still losing sailors, but only slightly, and to my great relief, it's not actually damaging our ships. I was afraid that might happen, but no, it's not, so things are looking good. We have 45% of the total trade power in the North Sea, which is awesome. We got 53% in the North Baltic, and we got 6% in the South Baltic. So if I actually get any extra ships, I will consider sending them down south to get a bit more trade power out of that. Apart from that, Orsentor, 29 gold, thank you. Wow, we're actually getting really close to building that trade wharf. I boosted the increase of fighting corruption a bit more because we might be actually able to get it to 0, and that would be awesome. I'll try to, well, it actually might be that case, which would be awesome, and at which point we can even further that by lowering the power of great nobles by taking some of their privileges away. Mostly I would be interested in lowering their autonomy, but it's actually pretty decent right now. It's going down as we're increasing the centralization. Are we actually? No, we're not. Okay, but it's still pretty good. Stralsund and the other ports are doing good. Wismar, I wonder how far it's going to go. It has no estates right now. The Stralsund land got to the lesser nobles. Okay, that's pretty good, I think. So yeah, that's introduction for today, and hey, you can actually see me press the button to start the upgrade of Trade Wharf in Sealand. Good job, everyone. So I just got a University of Copenhagen event, King Christian I of Denmark founded the University of Copenhagen in 1479 as a studium generale. The university became a center of Roman Catholic theological learning, but also had faculties for the study of law, medicine, and philosophy. We can sponsor the university, which will give us 100 administrative power and 5 prestige, and we'll start the construction of university in Norge for 90% of the cost and 0% of the time. Or we can ignore it, which will mean that we lose prestige. I actually don't have the money for the university, but I'm pretty sure that what the game will do is it will burden me with loans. Unfortunately. But hey, our industrious queen was thinking about this long time, and let's just say this is probably the time that the game wants us to do it. So let's go, and yes, here we go. Burdened by insane debt. Can we get some money somewhere? No. You would not help me, crap. Demand support. Request manpower. Nope, that's not gonna help. So we're gonna take an insane amount of loans, because our industrious queen, she probably wanted to do it before she dies, so we went with that. Let's see how many loans we're gonna get. I guess it's probably 6. No, way more. Okay, we're still gaining quite a lot of money, but we have a fuck ton of loans. But yeah, we are... Oh, we actually have a university there already. Well, awesome. So the urban gravity has increased and we now have a university. Good. I thought it was actually going to be built. Okay, so we paid for the urban gravity and everything with the loans. That actually makes me happy. So I'll start repaying those one by one. And it's gonna take a long time. So actually I think I'm gonna just keep saving on. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so let's just save money. It's our interest on the loans. It's 100% per year. Damn, that's not a great choice. So we just got a better centralization again. Maximum centralization can be increased by 10, which is awesome. So let's get the policies in order. Okay, the game has not recalculated it yet. Okay, but other thing, our heir, Hakon Estrid, is cruel, so I decided that we're gonna go with aggressive policing, which is a policy that will lower our military by 1, but it will increase the growth of our stability. So Hakon is the reason why we're gonna bully our people into being more stable. Don't bend, be more stable. Yes, that's gonna give us a decent boost. I also did one thing, which is I activated a thing that I did not know about. Where is it here? It's here, levy emergency taxes. But I did it for lesser nobles, because the greater nobles, I actually don't want to do it for them, because we have very low influence or loyalty. But it says that every year they will pay me 1/3 of their annual income until I have less than 3 loans. But it will lower their loyalty by 2. Actually, I don't know, how much are you getting? 24 per year. Okay, so the lesser nobles will pay me 1/3, which should be like 6 gold extra every year. Bishop of Holland. Promote peace and order. Oh, we could get... That would cost me gold. No. Let's promote peace and order. So we're gonna get additional money from our... Oh, come on. I'm gonna get additional... I want to finish that sentence. We're gonna get additional income from our minor nobles. Bribes growing more accepted. We were so close. What is the difference between an honest man and a fool? The fool doesn't know he's being swindled. So goes an increasing common saying in Denmark, the spirit of which is proven through a more sinister change in social fabric. Bribes are beginning to be seen as a natural consequence of the market, where any action carries a price. Those who refuse to take bribes are viewed as precisely what the saying suggests, fools. Worse than fools, since they are deliberately refusing money that could be theirs. The consequence of this cynicism is that any form of power truly corrupts, and no one believes it is, and no one who believes it is immune, not even the queen. So corruption, yay. Well, I'm investing into that heavily, so I'm hoping that it's gonna work. Now we have, how many loans? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll be able to repay 2 very soon. So I'm just saving money more and more to repay those additional loans. I don't think, or was it? Was the population gravity? No, not yet recalculated. But another thing that I was thinking about is we can now get the better roads in Zealand, but we have what is called plentiful manpower boost, and I'd like to keep it up, at least for the time being. I'm actually also going to lower the corruption here, because we really need to get as much money as possible to repay the loans when they are due. Number of months have passed, and we can now get the dry dock technology. So let's get it. It's going to give us additional 20% boost to our trade power. A dry dock is a narrow basin that can be flooded to allow a ship to sail inside, then drained to allow workers to repair or refit the ship. First used by the English at Portsmouth at 1495, there are obvious advantages led to many nations building their own. Increases max colonial range, and we can now build a naval arsenal. Considering that we haven't even got the dry dock yet, I don't think that's going to be any concern for us right now. But we have 248 gold right now, which is pretty decent, and we need 368 to repay all of the loans. Now, considering that we still got 3 years to go, I am pretty sure that we're going to be able to repay everything in due time, which is great. Meanwhile, the population gravity in our capital has been recalculated to 90,000, so we are about 1/3 below that number, which is awesome. On the other hand, we no longer have any foreign students payments, and we are an important center of trade. However, the urban infrastructure of 2,200 gold increases the price in our capital to near insane levels. So I don't know if we're gonna do anything anytime soon. If anything, I'm actually thinking of building a renowned university, which might be a good idea, but that's not a goal for now. Zealand has the trade wharf now, and the population still hasn't been recalculated there, so we'll have to wait. But I expect it to jump to somewhere around 35, maybe 38,000, after which we might want to... Well, actually, I'm considering building a fort here. It might not be such a bad idea. We can't really build the warehouse. What about Skåne? Yeah, building a town hall here would also be a very good thing. That would boost the city very significantly, and we could build a workshop. It pisses me to no limit, though, that we don't have a merchant guild or the corporation guild in our capital. Those would give us a huge boost to power both production and trade. Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We still got time. This is actually a really interesting event. Pagan poetry and Christian ethics. The Renaissance was a period when the Greek and Roman classics were rediscovered and translated into Latin. In the Middle Ages, they had been shunned for being pagan, but now humanist scholars evaluated them on their own ideas rather than their heresy. Ancient writers such as Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle had much to say on topics such as ethics and politics, and those ideas were just as relevant in 14 AD as they had been 2,000 years earlier. The result was a flowering of philosophy, poetry, and science, as the ancient classics inspired modern interpretations. However, it was also a time of increased skepticism about religion. If a pagan who died long before Christ was born could use logic to determine good and evil, what did that say about the Bible? To many Danish philosophers, the answer was simple. Being a good Christian meant following a code of ethics, not following a Bible. One could live an ethical life by being honest, hardworking, generous, and kind, without ever touching a relic, going on a pilgrimage, or purchasing an indulgence. But then, where did this leave the Church? Another question was where it left our own people. Lacking a Roman heritage of our own, we have had to scour the texts for any mentions of our ancestors, attempting to build a nation heritage from that kernel. Live life according to our conscience, not church rules. Gain 100 administrative power, and lose papal influence and reform desire is added. Or the classics are deeply flawed, but still worth reading. Or ban the reading of classics as heresy. I actually think that we're gonna live a life according to our conscience, not as church rules, because our queen is a master theologian, and she's a master of the holy philosophy. So this would definitely go well with this. She's not a devout... Well, she's a devout Christian, but she's very well educated, and I think this is the right one for us. Does that allow us to get, yes, centralization of power, level 19. Production efficiency increased by 20% for the next 10 years. Stop. So, administrative technology advanced, centralization of power. Throughout this period, powerful rulers were able to reverse the course of feudalism by centralizing power under themselves. With a higher population came increased tax income for rulers, and with gunpowder came high cost of warfare that meant many feudal nobles preferred to perish scutage rather than fight. The results were professional armies and bureaucrats loyal to the central government, while the landed aristocracy increasingly lost their privileges to the state. The unification of nations such as France and Spain only sped up this process, allows armies to force march, and we can now build civil arts academy. Unhappiness among clergy, lose papal influence and church influence. Conflicts of opinion and interests over religion and secular matters between our government and our nation's religious authorities has upset the clergy. Well, screw the clergy. We're doing things on our own. And we just need slightly more military tech so that we can level that one up as well. We are now sitting at 272 gold. And to repay everything we need 368. Yeah, we'll be fine. Especially if we get the Öresund Tollen. Have you recalculated already? Didn't. Damn. Well, things are getting heated up in Denmark. Veiled criticism of the church. Even in 1480, it was dangerous to open and criticize the Catholic Church. Those who dared to suggest the state church or its agents could be corrupt, wrong, or backwards were sure to face public censor, both formal and informal. For this reason, critics of the church tended to use allegory and satire to point out imperfections in the church. A book published in Copenhagen recently criticizes the church at the highest levels. Thanks to the new methods of printing books, it has become hugely popular, perhaps dangerously so. Call on the church to reform itself. We gain 100 administrative power, but lose papal influence and get church displeasure for 3 years. Or read a book of interest and get religious controversy. Burn copies of the text. Let's call on the church to reform itself. We are master theologians, so we know how dangerous this is to us. And we can now get the battlefield ambulances. Battlefield ambulances. Most of the dead in the medieval battle died lingering deaths after the fighting. Battlefield ambulances were first used in the siege of Malaga. Emergency ambulances would travel across the battlefield carrying wounded troops to medical treatment tents, giving them the chance to be treated and recover if their wounds allowed it. Military tactics increased and cavalry shock increased. Pretty good. And we have plentiful manpower again. We are just a few steps away from the treasury that we need to repay the loans. Hey, and special taxes are due. Let's collect them. Yeah, we will cancel it from next year because we don't need that anymore. Oh, that 9 gold is pretty good. Have you recalculated already? You did. Urban gravity 35,000. So that means we definitely need to give you something. The warehouse might be good. The merchant guild might be good as well. But we'll have to think about it later after we have repaid the taxes. Or repay the loans, not the taxes. We do not need to repay the taxes. We need to collect the taxes. It is 4th of January 1482, and we now finally have enough money to repay all of our loans. So let's repay them. It's 376.58 gold and 8.58 remaining interest. So let's do that, and be happy that we have done it. Now our income is back at 7.42. I'm happy to say that we can now again, if we want to, take loans. But I'm ending this episode on a whole different level. I checked our capital and I was wondering what we could build there next, and I noticed that the corporation guild has been built. And I'm wondering, didn't I just say a couple of minutes ago that we don't have either of those? Well, I was right. We didn't have either of those, but there was a corporation guild built by the burghers in the city. They actually built it on their own. So the urban gravity is now nearly 100,000 in our capital, which led to an increase in urban development to 12 and becoming even richer. So good guys, burghers have our back. Now, with that said, I'm going to focus further on Zealand. We need to build something here because the costs in our capital are insane, and it doesn't really make any sense to build anything more there, probably with the exception of the Merchant Guild, because that would give us a boost to trade power here, which I might actually like, but not right now. I would prefer to build something in Zealand. It's most likely going to be the warehouse that will give us additional boost to the urban gravity, or we might upgrade the roads because we do have the manpower. So stay tuned for the next episode where we are going to do either of those.